Hello and welcome back to another Popcorn Chat. I hope you guys are doing well. In this video I'm speaking to you about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Similar to a lot of other people, I've definitely fallen out of love with the Marvel films. Ever since Endgame, they just haven't been the same for me. I've really appreciated and revelled in the TV shows. I think that's a great platform to allow for new characters to come through and really explore their narratives in a way that we can get on the big cinema screen. So in terms of the previous Guardians of the Galaxy films, I did enjoy the first one. I think it's very much a game changer in terms of the way in which they made Marvel films and the way they used music throughout. I think that was very much a pivotal point within the sort of phase of the Marvel films. The second one I really didn't enjoy. I thought the story was so bizarre, and they had Kurt Russell in it, and it was just a really weird thing about this sort of family relationship that I didn't really like at all. Coming into the third film, I'd seen it a little bit after the hype, and I'd seen some sort of generic reviews that people said it was a good film. So I went in with high hopes, and I have to say it was good. It was a good film, definitely a vast improvement upon the second one, which I really disliked. This one felt much more in line with what a Guardians of the Galaxy film should be. This film carries on whether you've seen the Christmas special or not. I don't think that really matters, but it really sets up in a very much fleshed out universe, and you can feel that these characters have lived here, and you can feel the hierarchy within this group of characters. Quill is still reeling from the loss of Gamora. However, a lot of the other characters are very much sort of moved on, but obviously we can still see that character of Quill is still feeling those emotions for the loss of his partner. Saying that, this film very much focuses on the character of Rocket Raccoon. This is very much his film. You know, it's a character that has been pushed aside a little bit in the previous two. So it was great to see a focus on another key character within the Guardians. So we then have this golden man flying through the sky who turns out to be Adam Warlock, who is played by Will Poulter, and he comes smashing through the window and intends to retrieve Rocket, and obviously the other Guardians try to step in, and Adam Warlock is not saying no. This leads Rocket to be in a critical situation, which causes the rest of the Guardians to come together in order to save Rocket's life. What I really liked about this film is that it took the focus away from Quill, which is what we've had in many of the films, you know, be it a Guardians film or Infinity War. A lot of it has been around him, but I'm much more interested in these side characters. There are some really fun moments throughout the film that very much make it feel like a James Gunn film. The other week I finally watched The Suicide Squad, which he remade, which I thought was excellent. Very much an improvement upon the original one a couple of years ago. The Suicide Squad and this feel very different. They feel tonally different, but he brings his comedy and sort of dynamic of a group, you know, in both films. So I think he does that really well, and that's clearly evident within Guardians 3. Adam Warlock, who's played by Will Poulter, who we knew was going to be a new addition sort of coming into this. A lot of people thought the character was going to be introduced in Endgame, but unfortunately he wasn't. But it's great to see him finally in the Guardians sort of universe, and I think Will Poulter does an excellent job. He does this really sort of great balance of being a himbo. He's able to bring both sort of comedy and physicality to the role. I think he does an excellent job and has a purpose in the film, though it's a smaller role than I thought it was. I think he does really good with what he's given. So as I said, this film very much focuses on Rocket, and we see these flashbacks throughout the film whilst the gang are trying to, you know, save Rocket's life to his younger self, and we can see how he's experimented on and the way in which he becomes who he is today. So this is all conducted by the main villain in this film, the High Evolutionary. So this character is played by Chukwudi Iwuji. Hopefully I'm saying their name right. I've never seen him before in any other roles, but oh my gosh, he gives an excellent performance in this. It's very much a theatrical and, you know, over-the-top experience, but I think this very much sort of Shakespearean performance really adds the character, you know, the sort of heightened sense of emotion, you know, the very much acting out upon the smallest thing that could really affect his sort of strategic plan for the rest of the universe. With the topic at hand surrounding Rocket and the sort of experiments that he had to make him the way he was and talk and sort of have, you know, the ability to stand on his hind legs, there's inevitably going to be scenes which make you feel uncomfortable. There are definitely scenes, even though they were CGI animals, that made me feel very uneasy. I definitely think some of those scenes would have been quite hard to watch, whether you were younger or, you know, just someone who's really a big fan of animals. I think this is going to really sort of hit you quite hard in the sort of emotions and maybe reflect upon, you know, the way in which we do treat animals in our society today. There are definitely parts in the film where the pacing felt a little bit slow. It's a longer Marvel film. It's obviously nowhere near sort of Infinity War or Endgame, but I think there were certain parts where the sort of pacing dropped a little. That's only a little bit. Generally, I thought this was a fun film. Like I say, it's a vast improvement on the second one. Not as good as the first one, because the first one felt a little bit more iconic and very much a game changer. This was very much a film that wrapped up this trilogy. You know, we say goodbye to some characters, and I think James Gunn isn't going to do these anymore. So I think this is a very nice neat package with a ribbon on top that's wrapped up this narrative of these characters, but also, you know, it sets up a whole line of new Guardians to the universe. And I'm really hoping that they use these sort of new characters and, you know, new waves of teams going forward in the MCU and the TV shows. So I'm excited to see what's going to come. Hopefully we can get the writing that's going to match these sort of really interesting characters in the future. So I gave Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 3 out of 5 stars. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Let me know your thoughts down below, and how would you rank this trilogy now that you've seen all 3 of them? I'd love to check out your thoughts. I'll see you very soon for another popcorn chat.